right, so we're going to go ahead and we came out a couple of weeks ago, and with your college football experience, I figured you'd be the perfect person to ask about this one. So the committee decided to stick with the 12-team playoff instead of advancing it to the rumored 16 or the 24. G. Mike, I'm going to have you start up there, man. Are you good with this, that this kind of came to an end, or did you want to see it expand?
I wanted to see it expand, man. I feel like, there's a reason why you rank 25 top teams. You got these big conferences like the SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, that they have multiple teams that can fit the college football playoff format, right? You keep it at 12, and it's just limits, in my opinion, viewership, money that be coming to the games on TV or even the actual in-person games. And even the whole excitement behind the college football playoffs. Yeah, I know we still have all these bowl games, and we try to still make that important. But in this day and age, for the last however many years that the college football playoff have been out, that is what is more important to the college football viewer. So I feel like if they would have made it a little bit bigger in the sense of like 16 teams, I think it would have been pretty dope then. I think after 16, a lot of teams do really expose themselves on not being as great as the top 10, the top 12, how it is now. But I think if you would expand it a little more, you won't be getting these situations as in Notre Dame, for instance, last year, that they didn't get in. And they were a team that, if you really like put pen to paper, they were a team that should have been in the top 10. But, with this whole college football playoff format, only 12 teams go, and, it is what it is then.
Brandon, what do you think about that one? Especially going to a smaller school, Carroll, any chances of obviously I know that's, lower level, but I mean, you got those teams out there. They're not the only ones that are good chances that get a good shot. You have like the March Madness tournament where you got these guys that there's always one team that makes it so far. Do you think that they should incorporate more teams, or do you like it where it's at, that this is the Elite 12?
I 100% agree with G Mike. I don't understand why they wouldn't expand it. I don't see any downside, right? You get more games, you get more money coming in, more viewership. Who gives a crap about the bowl games these days? I don't even care. I see, some of these, even when it was just all bowl games, there's so many of them, and they're just kind of to me, they're just like exhibition games. That, yeah, okay, but the competition is not there. There's
right.
So
my whole thing with it too is that you can take these bowl games, like you're saying, they're so watered down and so many, but make them actually mean something.
Exactly. Yeah. Why wouldn't you expand that out? They're playing these games anyway, right? How
Exactly.
hard would it be to add 16, even 24 teams? And to your point about March Madness, who doesn't love a dark horse? Somebody that comes from nowhere. And I know Indiana kind of played that this time, and they just came in and destroyed people until the national championship, where it was actually kind of a better game. Mm-hmm. But that's crazy. But they were good all season. They were top tier all season. But even Miami, came out of nowhere kind of at the end of the season. But you don't give people a chance to do that if you don't have more teams in there. Right? Exactly. Notre Dame's such a good example. They lost 2 games at the beginning of the season. Then they went on a terror for 10 games. They should have been in there. Mm-hmm. They had all the momentum in the world. They could have won the national championship. If anybody could have, they were rolling, right? And to deny them that because some committee just I'll only get 12 teams, that seems ridiculous. So I don't understand how it could even be. Wasn't it like the SEC and the Big 10 were they just couldn't decide whether to do 16 or 24?
SEC and Big 10, yeah.
What? Come on. How hard is that to put together? Flip a coin. 16, 24, heads, tails, right?
Yeah,
you got the scheduling, you can make it work.
Your point of it earlier, George, you were talking about the what's the point of ranking these guys then if you're only going to go to 12 then or something? Who cares if you're number 17 in the country? That's not also going to make a recruit go, oh man, you were 17. I got to go to your school now. If you're 17 and you make a run and you make it to maybe the quarterfinals, that's when the recruiting actually starts coming in. That's when it actually matters. But overall, if you finish the season, 19th in the country, it's good for the coach that he can get his next contract, but that's not going to get any other players there. It's not going to do anything for the school. So, yeah, I completely agree that I think that they should expand it. I would be in favor of the 24. The 24, and I guess you would give the 2015 the automatic bye, maybe give them 2 rounds. However you want to figure it out, it could be. It seems like to me an easy fix to do, and then it also gives. I think it kind of takes out the we didn't have a chance. The Notre Dame, or a couple of years ago, everybody loves to, and being in Central Florida area, UCF, like they would have had their actual opportunity to get that chance had they, if they expanded it like they should have back then. But
didn't that happen to Florida State?
I think they
too?
definitely should.
Yeah, happened to Florida State too. Yep.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous
because they lost their quarterback right before the playoffs, so they're like, "Oh, it's not going to be the same team without the quarterback."
I completely forgot all about that one too.
Which they did get demolished by Georgia. Man, I'm not going to say, but,
right?
In that game that was not a part of the college football playoff, but still, like, I don't know. I feel like if you earn your right, you should get there. And the other thing is with NIL money, right? You got all these schools that are going to be coming up with the money in the future with different kind of sponsorships that they have in their city, in their state, and stuff like that. So it's like you're going to have different opportunities for different teams to make the college football playoff if you expand it. If you keep it at 12, most likely the top 7 are going to be the same kind of schools that are always in there. The Alabamas, the Georgias, the freaking before Notre Dame. Now, most likely it's looking like Miami's going to be there for the next few years to come with what just happened. But you expand it, you let that NIL money start rolling for different schools, and then you're going to have just like the NFL. You don't know who's going to be there in the end.
Yeah, like BYU, right, this year. Mm-hmm. They had a great season. You know what I mean? And they got, I know they lost a couple games, but I just want to see them have a chance.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And, and that alleviates the whole, we never had a chance. You can't ever get the chance unless you actually have the chance, and so you can honestly say, hey, we beat the best of the best, including these small schools, or even the larger schools. But I think it's just the best and fair way to do it. Now, that is something else as well. I know that NIL has kind of changed things the way colleges and everything like that. What do you think is like the future with like schools that, like, for instance, where you went, where it's a smaller school? Has NIL affected any of that kind of dynamic? Are players leaving earlier? Are they sticking around more? Or it's kind of lower level kind of stuff, so they're not at that point?
Well, yeah, at our level in the NAIA and, in the Midwest, not much. There's not a whole ton of money going around. I will say at the FBS level, I've seen it a little bit more. I work with some players at the FBS level, and I know a few of them personally that have really benefited from it, and it's been great. Like one example, a kid playing for one of the teams up in Montana. He's from America Samoa. They got a connection down there, and they get kids up there sometimes. And like his family is not, have a huge endowment or a ton of funds, right, to get him up there. And he got the chance. There's some companies around the community that like dove into this and started picking kids. And they weren't always like the top stars, but they were choosing kids based on need. And so they did a commercial with this kid. Like, he was a familiar face. They knew who he was, but he wasn't like the quarterback. He was like a lineman.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They did a commercial with him, and he got some NIL money that he could then bring his family to a game. Like, that's beautiful.
That's what I mean? That's the good side of what this thing is actually supposed to be about.
Absolutely.
That's what it should be about, 100%.
Yeah. And of course, there's going to be a negative side. Of course, right? Of course. You get the good with the bad.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think it's going to be a net positive, because I think these kids should be compensated in some way, right? Because they're working full-time jobs, and they're sacrificing their bodies for it too, right? So at the lower levels, like the NAI, I haven't seen it much. I haven't heard of it much. The transfer portal a little bit more, right? When that started to shake things up, kids were moving. up, which is also great. Like it's just changing things, like and people don't like change, which I get it, but you got to adapt, right? And I know the good coaches, the good teams are going to adapt. The one negative is that when you're trying to really build a culture, it gets harder. It gets harder when those good
that was my
kids
next
leave.
question. Are you for or against it? Because it seems like now people are just like, okay, you know what? There's no loyalty. There's no, and then we just talked about it last week, the Duke and Miami situation where they had to come to an agreement to get him out of the contract and everything. I was saying I think that's going to be a new thing coming up a lot more, that they're going to have to come up with something, because you can't just sign a contract for money, get the money, and be like, okay, I see a better opportunity for me, and I'm out.
Yeah.
They're going to have to start weighing that out more.
Yeah, I think so too. But to your first question, I'm for it. Like, I think it's going to be a net positive overall. So I'm for it. I think the good teams with the good, like, I'm going to use him again because I really do respect him, and he's an amazing coach. The DeBoers of the world, Kalen DeBoer, my old head coach, Mike Van Diest. These guys, they recruit on character and they breed loyalty, right? So, you're going to have like the Jaden Daniels that go to ASU and then get recruited by LSU and then get NIL money and like $4 million or whatever. I don't know what the actual payment was that he was getting at LSU. Like, I mean, it'd be kind of stupid not to take that. I get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Loyalty's one thing, but a paycheck is nice.
I mean,
especially
at that
age, man. Especially when you
sure.
got family looking, you got to look out for family in those situations, man. Like
you do.
Gotcha.
You do. Yeah, I got nothing bad to say about that. Like, do your thing. Like, get that money. Football is a very short-lived sport. So make that money. Like, I have no qualms with that. But as far as like the loyalty and stuff goes, there will be decisions that people are going to have to make on whether or not they want to like stay on a team that has a culture that they really love, or are they going to go chase the money? And this is a decision that people have been having to make for all time. In business, in sports, everywhere. It's just because you got to make a hard decision. I mean, there's worse decisions you got to make. You know what I mean? So, I'm not too mad about it. The good teams will adapt and they'll find a way to hold on to those really good players. So I'm not worried about that. And the sport will adapt. So I'm not worried about that either. So all in all, I think it's a net positive.
It's like when we were younger, a lot of these athletes, and there was one dude, I forgot his name, but I think he went to Washington, the team you brought up earlier, and he was the one that was really advocating for the money to be changed because they were getting no money for food, just for food, right? And when that was going on, it's like, yeah, I had my 2 cents for it, but Steve and I, we went to Full Sail University for the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting, right? And there, I really learned that you were a full-time student and I was a full-time employee. I was working and being a full-time student at the same time. And just knowing the stuff that we did, it felt like a full-time job that we were not getting paid for. So I imagine athletes that are training every day, putting their bodies on the line, 2 to 3 practices a day, going out there for the games, putting on the show for the people, and then everybody else reaping the benefits for it. Nah, I didn't agree with that. It's like, these guys need to make some sort of change that can help them just by getting some food at first. But now it's helping them, bring their family clothes on their backs, a shelter over their heads, food in their tables, like a lot of benefits come off of this. All the other stuff of like, is the culture going to change and all that? Yeah, for sure. It's going to. But at the end of the day, these athletes, men and women, they're all full-time employees, really. Full-time employees, especially for NCAA.
Yeah, well put.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot coming in the next few years too, because I think it's only going to get bigger, and we're going to see all kinds of different rules and changes, and they'll get to come into all the employees, they lose their amateur status, all that good stuff. So there's still a lot more to come with that. But if I think it's all for the good whenever you get stories like you're just talking about before about that gentleman that they were able to do a commercial and he was able to get his family up there to see a game. So there is some plus sides to it as well. And I'm glad you actually brought that up because I didn't really heard any really positive stories. It's always negative, and people are making it out to be like they're just these rich kids that are getting paid and stuff. So there is actually some good sides to it.